my humble opinion, I believe that everyone should have a hobby or multiple hobbies. I think it's important for the mind and it's really good for your mental health. It adds more personality and depth to you as a person and makes you more interesting to other people. But most importantly, I do believe it adds to your wardrobe. And in this video, I'll be speaking about hobbies and how they are able to elevate your authentic style. So make sure you leave a like and you subscribe, you feel me?
Perfect.
Most people like the idea of aesthetics, but they don't know where they come from and they have no idea of the function behind what they're wearing. Fashion is an art for the most part and is rooted in practicality for a task as well. For example, I worked in the light trades, I'd say. Like, it's not hardcore trades. I'm not a blue collar brother or whatever. And I don't have soft hands either. But working in the trades, a lot of the stuff that I wore was for work. Hence the term work wear. And because I was in my work clothes at least 4 to 5 times a week, I started incorporating that into my everyday style and become something that I like and I still style to this day. People who rock Ben Davis, Carhartt, or Dickies probably never held a hammer a day in their life, but they wear it for an aesthetic. But as I said before, what you wear should be adopted by what you do on an everyday basis. So it's more like cosplaying a person that would wear that instead of being the person that ought to wear that, if that makes sense. People were spending hundreds of dollars on Arc'teryx and all these different climbing, hiking brands. They've never even climbed a hill in their backyard. But this is just the times that we're living in. It barely rains in their environment, but they need a full Gore-Tex waterproof jacket. Does it make sense? No. Do people do it? Of course. But then it becomes an issue of what we like to call capitalism and trying to be elite. And in every thing that I mentioned today, in every hobby or in every aesthetic that I mentioned, there is the top brand that represents that hobby, and people just want to do it or wear it for a status symbol. Now, the purpose of this is to make sure you guys are worldly and elevate your style at the same time and do things that you don't normally do because that's how your mind grows. So I'm going to name a few hobbies that you can do if you're an active person. And then with those hobbies in mind, you can also elevate your style simultaneously. So, for example, if you are into running, they have a new aesthetic now, the runners aesthetics. You could join the run clubs if you want. I know exactly why you guys are going to join it, but that's an aesthetic that a lot of people are getting into now. Tennis, you can get into as well. Golf and skiing, snowboarding, hiking. Now, these are more for the active people, right? So with skateboarding, you can get into. So for those who are active and love moving your bodies, I'm going to talk about a few hobbies that you can implement into your daily life because I want you guys to be more worldly and understand that, you can get into different things. So with this list, it's running, tennis, golf, skiing, snowboarding, hiking, and skateboarding. So with skateboarding and snowboarding and skiing, you can get into streetwear. With tennis and golf, you can get into prep. And then with hiking, you can get into gorpcore, which was booming in the early 2020s. And then running, you can get into athleisure. I see a lot of running styles, which is pretty cool. You can get into the Adidas Evo Speeds. I think I have those. And then you can get into Lululemon, all that type of stuff. Or you can go high athleisure with Fear of God and Essentials Fear of God as well. So like those are different things that you can get into. I know running as well, you can get into Hoka. There's a bunch of different brands that you can get into when it comes to running. Now if you're not into all the athletics, you're just a chill person, you're a chill guy, you're a chill gal, I got a couple hobbies for you. So reading is definitely one. And with reading, you can get into vintage wear, you can get into, different aesthetics like cottagecore, even depending on what type of genre of books you like, you can draw from that and adapt that to your style. If you're into music is a great gateway for you to get into stuff. So hip hop is with streetwear, same with grunge music is streetwear, and punk is streetwear. Then you can get into western wear if you're into country, folk, and blues. So as you can see, like you can take certain genres, certain hobbies, and certain ideals, and then implement it yourself. If you're into artistry like painting and museums, there's an aesthetic for that as well that you can use. For example, if you love to paint, you might wear overalls a lot, so then you can get into overalls and implement that into your style. So just to name a few, it's cool. Like I'm into vintage, right? So I like collecting vinyl records. I like collecting DVDs and playing old vintage video games. And video games is another one where if you're into video games, a nice style that you guys could emulate, and a lot of people don't do it that much anymore, but it's called techwear. So if you're into like acronym, you can implement that into your style as well. So there's just so many avenues that you guys can do when it comes to getting a new hobby and adapting your style to that hobby to make it your own. If you're into nature and fishing, you can have the fisherman core or the granola girl slash granola guy core as well. So, with that said, guys, think about it. You want to show the world who you are by how you dress, but how you dress should reflect who you are inside. It shouldn't just be a costume. And yeah, you can do it if you want, but you want to be your true, authentic self. And that's one thing I preach on this channel a lot is that, yo, what you guys see me wear, what you see me into is not just because I'm performing for the sake of performing, but I'm on the world stage showing you who I am and what I actually like. Not what TikTok says, not what Twitter says, not what Reddit says, but what Didi says. And I hope you guys do the same thing too. This is your boy Darius D signing off. Y'all stay blessed. Enjoy the holidays. See y'all in the new year. Be blessed. 2026. We're coming at you live. With that said, peace. We out of here. You feel me? Live long and prosper.